They tell you they do.
No, they don't.
Don't believe them. But let's talk about some mistakes from both parties, how we've got to where we are now. Republicans, some would say it was a mistake that they never offered a plan. They were just the party of no until recently or until the last couple months. Some would argue that President Obama set a too ambitious deadline to try to get this bill done by August. At the same time, he was rescuing the whole financial industry here in the U.S., the housing industry, and of course, putting the stimulus through. So let's talk to Senator Santorum. First, what were some mistakes made by your party to where we've,
well, let me just say first what we did. I mean, we did Medicare Advantage. We did health savings accounts. Both of those were done in Medicare reforms. The Medicare prescription drug bill is where both of those reforms were done. Medicare Advantage is a very popular program. HSAs have caught on in certain areas of the country, but again, they were limited by, again, trying to get bipartisan compromise of people who didn't support it. But those are two positive reforms. We attempted repeatedly to get tort reform passed. That was something that came up every session of the Congress, and every session of the Congress in block, almost in block the other side. Well, actually in block the other side, and actually even a couple of our members voted against trying to move forward on tort reform. So there were efforts made. I think the area that we did not make efforts that I said before that I offered was to do something about the uninsured. Now, I think that a legitimate argument can be made, and many of my colleagues made it, that we shouldn't be subsidizing insurance, spending more tax dollars into a system that is such a poor insurance system. We need a foundational change and reform of the insurance markets in this country before we should begin subsidizing. That's all well and good. We didn't have the votes or control to be able to do that, and we still had the problem of the uninsured. And so I made the gesture of putting forward tax credits for the uninsured, and my party, because of fiscal constraints, chose not to do that. They didn't want to add to the deficit, which I agreed with, nor did they want to either increase taxes or cut spending somewhere else to pay for it. So we did not, and I think it's legitimate to say, we did not see this as a priority that either required us to find other spending someplace in government to pay for this, or to buck up and increase taxes to pay for this. And so I think a legitimate criticism we made. We had the opportunity, we could have done it, and we said that there were other priorities that were higher priorities than that. And I would argue that was a mistake. I think we could have forestalled some of the problems that we're seeing here today had we come forward and made those decisions, but we did not. And so I tip my hat. I think the Democrats are doing 100% the wrong thing, but at least they're putting their money where their mouth is.
And what about yourself, Senator Wofford? Some of the mistakes that you've seen along the way with your fellow